Hi, I'm Eve and I'm 16. Have you ever been trolled at school? Have you ever had to fight off your classmates' assaults? I'm going to tell you the story of how I decided to show who is in charge of the class and how my actions led me to an unexpected punishment. Watch the video to the end and find out how my teacher got me a punishment by locking me in the school overnight. My mom and I live together. I never knew my father. I envy friends who have a father. My mom and I have a good relationship. I just would like to know that if something happens, I will be protected, not just told, poor thing. This weird desire of having a defender once reached a peak. I created my mother an account on the dating website in order to find her a man. But we could only find weird guys, so I gave it up. Soon, mom introduced me to her boyfriend, Pete. I was happy. I didn't know why exactly, because of her personal life or the fact that Pete suited my father requests. Caring, funny, strong. Everything was just perfect until Pete became a new maths teacher in our school. And what was wrong, you are going to ask? I had the same opinion until he started treating me differently than the others. I clearly understood that I did not deserve the praise. My classmates knew that too. Even my friends thought that there was something that connected me and Pete. But I could not confess that Pete was my mom's boyfriend because I didn't want to provoke hate on me. Everything was bearable until one of the classmates began to bully me, saying dirty things about me and Pete. It was necessary to do something. I did not come up with anything better but cutting Pete's class. At first, I was interrupting him, but when he asked me to come to the blackboard, I started pushing over the tables. How do you think did I manage to rise myself in the class's esteem by these actions? Pete was mad, so eventually I got detention. Pete took my phone and locked me in the classroom. Generally, everything went as planned, as I wanted to explain that at home. But panic came over me when Pete didn't come to get me after 2 hours. I was screaming, freaking out, as it was already 9 p.m. and the school closed. What he did was just cruel. It was so offensive that he did not even let me to speak out. He only decided to teach me a lesson without clearing the situation up. That was how I spent the night at school. Never been heard. A creepy adventure. Worst of all, the next day was the weekend, but that worried me the least. I only cared about one thing. Why would Pete do that to me? I felt so ashamed of my stunt that by the next morning there was already no offense left. I woke up from the voice of a crying mother, jumped up and started knocking on the door. The police cracked it. I began to explain to my mother what had happened, but she did not really listen. The only thing was important to her that everything was fine with me. She said Pete never came home yesterday. That is my fault. He broke up with her because of me, was the first thing I thought about because it was me who messed everything up. I told the police everything that had happened before. They were already searching for Pete. And fortunately, they did not have to search for a long time. He turned out being tied up in the pantry. Pete said that my classmates hit him with a mop, and when he was at a loss, put him in the pantry, tied him up, and shouted something about me and him. He no longer remembered the details. It would sound awful and selfish, but it got easier when I found out what had happened to Pete. Of course, what my classmates did was just unforgivable, and I am still mad. But I was so happy that Pete did not hate me. He would have come, and we would have talked, if not for those dummies. Later, I admitted that because of shame, I did not know how to behave. He said that I needed to talk to him to prevent all that. After all, I could lose a close person because I was scared of my classmates' opinions. I craved to be taken care of and protected, but when fate sent a person like that, I was not able to appreciate it. The guys were punished by suspension, and Pete left the school. Now I see him only at home, and together we arrange the coziest family evenings, which I could not even have dreamt of before. There is nothing more important than a family, and its protection is not only the father's duty. If you enjoyed the story, give it the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Don't be afraid of what people think, and do not give up your close people in order to make yourself look better in the eyes of the others.